It's the heat wave week here in Brighton and across most of the rest of the UK, with temperatures expected in some places to go up to 38, possibly more. So it might be good to talk about a hot topic, and that hot topic is also a controversial one. And I think I'm write an article about this quite soon, because it is becoming more and more worrying to people. It's part of a very big field. But even before I went to the Edinburgh Fringe at the turn of the millennium, there were actually more impersonators around. There still are, but there were a few at the Fringe too, and there still are, I think, one or two that come and they impersonate, various famous people. It's usually part of comedy. Then there are performers who play characters, often solo shows, characters from history. Not so much characters still alive, maybe for obvious reasons. Although, some will play a member of the royalty, some will play one of the world leaders, but quite often with other people, the Elvis shows and so on. The person has passed on quite a long time ago. But impersonation has taken on a really different form, so I'm going to write a lot more about that, which is a much kind of more problematic one. At the Edinburgh Fringe last year, it was a problem of some reviewers, maybe more, impersonating themselves. So the reviewer has put a review out, it's under their name, but AI has pretty much written all of it, and that's going to happen more and more. But the hot topic that I noticed online, and we've been thinking about too, is receiving press releases for Fringe theatre performances, shows, and the poster, the press release image, has clearly been written, or has clearly been drawn, painted, photographed by AI. And of course the human being has prompted it, has attempted to create the sort of art they might pay a lot to a graphic designer or an artist for, but they've actually been sitting at ChatGPT and said create an image. They might have uploaded their own photograph, it might be trying to deep fake them, and I'd say where that is actually part of the artistic intention, it could be that the show is exploring that, it could be slightly kind of off-beam comedy, you can get away with it. But we're getting press releases, and I'm just noticing some of our reviewers are sharing those and going, that was written with AI, and they're tutting. So there's been some views around expressed online and questions asked about whether, if a reviewer is looking at a heavy schedule and they are deciding what to go and see, if they go, that was created with AI, views that negatively. Some do, I would say still most do, some don't, they're absolutely fine. That looks like a good image, there's the information I need, I know about this group, I've had some reviews before, let's go see them. There's a sympathy towards budgets being tight. Although, just like a bad press release before AI, if the AI generated one is pretty poor, it's going to get the same kind of disdain that a poorly created, humanly created press release would get. But the issue here is there's definitely a debate taking place that if it looks like AI, there is still a kind of AI style, particularly if you don't prompt it very well, in the same as if you don't draw it very well, and what we tend to get is a sort of AI look. In some cases it's quite cliched. I've noticed it's often over busy and there's too much on it. They don't tend to misspell anymore, though they still sometimes do that as well, and somebody's not checked it. But there's a sort of either garish look about it, you probably know what I'm talking about. In some cases there's a slight darkness in the choice of the colours. There's a sort of weirdness sometimes, at some point, to the perspective of it. Faces can look a little bit, kind of masky, and in some ways the attempt to cartoonize things sometimes also, which I've been experimenting with, and actually I'm writing a book about that at the moment, because I write about AI ethics, to see how people react. I've been measuring the extent to which people are looking at them and liking them. Am I getting more likes? What's the impact of that? More on that soon. My own reporting on that is, in my book Fringe Wisdom, I put a few AI cartoons at the end, and they were fun and they got good reactions, but they don't feel to me like I created them. And we're having debates at the moment about the extent to which we need to be very transparent about creating AI. Not At the moment, I'd say people don't because it's so obviously AI. But as it gets more subtle, do we need to say this wasn't created by me if I've signed it? This was created by AI or with AI? These are all the big questions. Coming back to, they're ethical questions, but what about if there are also economic questions? At the moment, the debate around it was that shows themselves get less ticket sales. That when people are choosing from their very limited budgets, whether to see 5 different theatre shows, if one looks like it's been created by AI, is that subliminally suggesting that people aren't authentic with their work, particularly if they haven't said it was created with AI, that they're somehow digitally disappointed with it? They might feel like someone's trying to deceive them because they've decided it's AI. But it can also just be that the images are a little bit samey. And you just have created art that's a bit too derivative because your AI's created it as well. So I'm just inviting you not to make those judgments, although last year we were also, because there was an investigation into a couple of online publications that had used ChatGPT almost entirely to write favourable reviews of shows that were being favoured in other ways, like by PR companies and so on. And there were admissions and denials, and there were also discussions about whether that was okay to do that. But we end up with a place where if a reviewer comes along and just leaves their phone recording, goes off to see another show, picks it up on the way, obviously they've given it to a friend to just hold on to, they're not in the show, but say it's stand-up comedy, write me a review that it's just listened to, is that okay? There are no laws about this at the moment. Some people say the existing laws around, fraud and honesty cover it, which they might do to a certain extent. But we're coming to a place where essentially, if you are using AI to create an artistic image, in a way what you're doing is you're getting AI to impersonate an artist you might well have paid to do that, or might have been yourself that created it. And at the moment, if people sense it, I think a lot of people don't like it. I think a lot of people have potentially very correct ethical judgments, but also, say, economic ones about, I just don't think I'm going to put my money there, because they couldn't even create their own poster. And that is up in the air for discussion about the role of AI and so on. What we are going to get, and we are getting, is far more examples of impersonation. And digital impersonation, I think, is at the heart of what AI is all about. We're already getting identity theft happening and lots of other much more worrying kind of problems, as even on some of your most secure platforms in social media. It's just, I've just been doing my own research. There are literally hundreds of thousands in the UK, if not millions around the world, examples of hacking, identity theft, that absolutely make use of your devices as well. That becomes a different issue, but actually it does overlap with the idea that if we can't know that something has impersonated somebody else, and that ultimately what that comes down to with press releases is punters, reviewers are just getting a sense that this poster looks like it was made with AI. Was the play written with AI? Are the company valuing every ounce of human being that creates work, that presents work? And we might just be transitioning to a new normal, but at the moment we're not. And so the bottom line of that could be that people are making judgments to just favour work images that feel more authentic, because certainly we're in an age where authenticity is still valued as the highest value by so many different people. So just an invitation for you, if you're starting to find more and more your life is generating text and image using AI, you're not telling people about it. AI is currently, particularly if you don't prompt it well, simply not good enough for you to get away with the impersonation.